From Food Review, I don't understand why big media is saying to draft Fields/Lance. Because you hope that they become like Dak Prescott instead of just paying Dak. That is where I'm at as well. And I get it, you're saving some money along the way, but I hope we all know that quarterback play isn't, boom, instant top 10 guy. Like, look, Herbert and Joe Burrow have been awesome this year, but are they top 10 guys right now? Probably not. You're not going to take them over Dak Prescott either. You take one of those guys, and I think Fields is probably closer to Lawrence than he is to Lance, but that's okay. You're hoping that the guy you take in a year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever is as good as the guy you just had. And when that's the spot you're in, maybe you shouldn't be drafting a quarterback that early. But you guys can get your votes in. There is an argument for going with the young quarterback. It's mostly about money saved, which is a conversation I much would rather have around other positions than, the super important one. So, get your votes in here. Type 1 for Dak. Type 2 for draft. What would you want to do at quarterback? 1 for Dak or 2 for draft a quarterback? From Apex the Dragon, what's the most picks you'd feel comfortable trading down? Personally, I still want to be in the top 12 range. Again, it's a little tricky for me to say. I'm looking to get someone of a Caleb Farley, Sean Wade, Patrick Surtain, Penei Sewell. You can throw in a Micah Parsons, Gregory Rousseau there if you want. I don't know how the board will shake out. I think top 12 is probably pushing it if you're still trying to get a blue chip, if you will, corner. But you know what? A team might come through and say, hey, guys, I know we're picking 15, but here's all of our picks this year, all of our picks next year, and an extra first in 2022. Or 2023, excuse me. That would be tough to turn down. So I would prefer to stay in top 10, but we'll see what happens. Ooh, from Brian Parson. Good question here. Who will be the biggest reach in next year's draft? In hindsight, it'll probably end up being one of those quarterbacks because that's just how things work out. The big four, if you will, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, they're not all going to hit. That's what we know. Outside of that, the biggest reach with the way they've played this year, I liked him a lot entering the season, but he's already injured again. Marvin Wilson's been pretty bad. So I don't know where he ends up going, but even though I was hyped about Marvin entering this year's draft process, he's been a major disappointment. So we'll see. I'm sure there will be someone who emerges in the coming, months here that stands out to me as a bigger reach. As a reminder, get yourself a Cowboys face mask at chatsports.com/Cowboys mask. They are 30% off for a limited time. They got a variety of schemes and colors and different numbers of packs, from individual ones up to 4 packs as well. So check the comments, check the description. That is chatsports.com/Cowboys mask. Chatsports.com/Cowboys mask. All right, from Justice Fontana says, draft Micah Parsons. That is the linebacker from Penn State. I like Micah Parsons a lot. He is a very good football player. He is, I think, the clear-cut top off-ball linebacker in this year's class. But Micah Parsons, to me, because I already did his eval because, well, he's not playing football this year. He opted out. Really good blitzer. I don't love him in coverage, but can do some hook zone stuff. Man-to-man, didn't get many opportunities. Really good tackler, good run stopper, great athlete. You know who I just described? Pre-injury, Jaylon Smith. And that's at least concerning to me because I think Micah Parsons will be a 3-down linebacker, but I think that 3rd-down value will come from blitzing. I think he can play that 4-3 linebacker, that 3-4 outside linebacker. He's a good football player, but he's also a linebacker. And outside of Luke Kuechly and maybe potentially Devin White with the way he's playing, the list of off-ball linebackers that have gone to the top 10 and truly been worth their production really isn't that long. So I'm okay with Micah Parsons, but it's another high investment linebacker pick, which maybe isn't in the best interest in this Cowboys team. Stinky Cheese, do players like Zeke or Jaylon Smith take a pay cut during the offseason? Probably not. Mostly because they will just call the Cowboys bluff and be like, okay, you want me to take a pay cut? How about I just say no and you cut me? Like, Jaylon's contract and Zeke's contract aren't super easy to move on from. And in general, players don't want to do pay cuts because they have a finite time frame of actually earning money. Super chat, and then another big one just came in from Alan. Thank you, Alan. If the Cowboys get a top 3 pick and a quarterback outside the top 4, and like a QB, outside the top 4 quarterback, should we trade down and get a haul for the defense and trade Dak? Look, man, if you are convinced one of those non-top 4 quarterbacks is going to be your guy, I guess sure, but I also doubt it. Like, I think that's an even sillier idea than just taking the quarterback because do you believe in Desmond Ridder or Mac Jones or Sam Ehlinger? Like, just pay Dak. I think that's a better path than, frankly, I think taking a non-top 4 quarterback and not taking a quarterback early is like my least favorite of the 3 ideas. From Alan Williams, Tom, no offense question, but how do you feel about Neville Gallimore now? Is he playing better in your, or maybe he meant no offense question. Probably makes more sense there. Is he playing better in your eyes for like this 500-pound bench pressing beast? And I think he'll be a Pro Bowl DT. I'm not going to overhype Neville Gallimore quite yet, but he is coming off of his best game by a significant margin against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was very pleased with the way he's played. And by the way, Alan, stay tuned to our next video. We'll talk a little bit more about Neville Gallimore. From 4 Flacco, what do you think about drafting Javon Holland? Not in round 1, maybe in round 2, but I think day 2, there will be safety prospects that makes sense. And Javon Holland out of Oregon really was a nickel corner last year. Certainly makes sense for that. From Brandon, Cowboys should trade D-Law, Jalen Smith, and Dak for a first-round picks for Lamar Wilson, Trace Mcsorley, and then put Lamar at running back and let Trace run the offense. Get yourself an Embrace the Tank t-shirt today. Chatsports.com/tank. I'm not going to answer that last question. I am on board with tanking. It's easier said than done. Welcome to life in the NFL. But this is a long-term and a short-term t-shirt. Short-term, you got the nice Embrace the Tank with the tanks on there. And long-term, I wasn't advocating losing. I was cheering for DeMarcus Lawrence. Get yourself one today at chatsports.com/tank. From Andres, Jarwin and Schultz, the future is bright in Dallas. I have been satisfied with the tight end play. Remember, you got 3 awesome wide receivers as well. You don't necessarily need to have a Travis Kelce at tight end, as fun as that would be. So I am fine, Andres, and I agree with you, with the situation at tight end. From Nick McLean, who do you have your eyes on from Iowa in the draft? Any good defensive backs you're looking at? Out of Iowa, I know they had Matt Hankins. I don't think this is going to be the same like Iowa draft class that had in recent years Josh Jackson, Desmond King. They have Alaric Jackson. I haven't dove too far into the Iowa draft prospects, but there's no one that really jumps out to me for now as being a likely top 50 pick. From Kevin M. Bell, hey Tom, Rochester, New York is Cowboys Nation. What do you think about the Cowboys drafting, I believe it's pronounced, I don't have my pronunciation in front of me, Hufanga from USC. I know it's pronounced Hufanga, but I always forget the first name there. Kevin, go check out my Cowboys mock draft. Available right now on the channel because I had Hufanga in there. Just saying he was one of my draft picks, and I got him a little bit lower than you might otherwise anticipate. All right, Skylar Cyrus, do we trade down and target Caden Sterns? Probably not in round 1. Sterns has a lot of upside. He's been, I think, fairly inconsistent. I don't think Caden Sterns is a round 1 target, and unless he drastically improves his play from what I've seen this year, he's probably not even going to be a round 2 target. So I'm on board with bringing him in to help out at safety. I don't think it has to be a situation, though, where you're investing a premium pick in him, like a top 50 pick. I think he might be there in round 3 for you if that's the route you choose to go. So I want you guys to name a random Cowboys player before we sign off on today's show. Let me know a random Cowboys player.